Welcome back to the Violet Hour Library, a quiet corner of the night where stories are soft and time moves gently. I don't know what your day has been like, but if you've found your way here, maybe you're carrying a little restlessness, a little weight, or simply the need for peace. Whatever brought you, this is a place where you can let it all go, if only for a while. Take a slow breath in, and as you breathe out, allow the day to slip further away. You don't have to do anything here. You don't have to fix or hold onto a single thing. Before we begin, I'd love to know where you're listening from. You can share it softly in the comments when morning comes, or just hold it as a secret between you and this story. Tonight, the rain taps gently against old stone walls, and in the heart of a forgotten town stands a clock tower, its hands forever frozen at midnight. Up the winding stairs, behind gears worn smooth with time, rests a letter untouched for years, waiting for the one who dares to find it. So settle deeper into your pillow or into the quiet of this moment and let the world outside fall away. This is the letter hidden in the clock tower. The old clock tower stood at the heart of the sleepy village of Eldermere, its weathered stones worn smooth by centuries of wind and rain. Every hour, its chimes rang out soft, deep, and melodic like a lullaby for the townsfolk. Few ever ventured inside, for the wooden stairs creaked with age, and the air was thick with the scent of old parchment and oiled gears. But on this particular evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, a young woman named Ilara found herself drawn to the tower's arched doorway, her curiosity piqued by a rumor she had heard that morning at the bakery. Ilara had always been a dreamer, her mind filled with stories of hidden treasures and long-lost secrets. The baker, Mrs. Hemsley, had mentioned in passing that the clock tower had once been a meeting place for the village's founders, and that some believed a forgotten letter still lay tucked away within its walls. The thought had nestled in Ilara's mind all day, and now, with the golden light of dusk spilling across the cobblestones, she couldn't resist stepping inside. The heavy oak door groaned as she pushed it open, revealing a spiral staircase that wound upward into shadow. The air inside was cool and still, carrying the faintest hint of lavender, perhaps from the dried flowers someone had left on the windowsill long ago. Ilara climbed slowly, her fingers trailing along the rough stone walls as the steps creaked beneath her. Halfway up, she paused, certain she had heard something, a whisper, perhaps, or the flutter of paper. But when she held her breath and listened, there was only the steady, rhythmic ticking of the great clock above. Shaking off the shiver that had crept up her spine, she continued upward toward the chamber where the clock's gears turned in endless, patient circles. The clockroom was a marvel of brass and wood, the towering gears gleaming faintly in the dim light that filtered through the dusty glass face of the clock. Ilara stepped carefully around the machinery, her eyes tracing the intricate paths of cogs and springs that had kept time for generations. In one corner, a small wooden desk sat tucked beneath a shelf of old books, its surface covered in a fine layer of dust. Drawn to it, Ilara brushed her fingers across the desk, revealing a faded ink stain and the faint impression of handwriting pressed into the wood. Someone had written here often, long ago. As she examined the desk, her fingertips found a small, almost imperceptible groove along its side. Curious, she pressed it, and with a soft click, a hidden drawer slid open. Inside lay a single sheet of yellowed paper, folded neatly and sealed with a wax emblem she didn't recognize. Her heart quickened as she picked it up, turning it over to see the delicate script on the front, to the keeper of the clock. When the moon aligns with the spire, the word sent a thrill through her. This was no ordinary letter. It was a riddle, a message meant for someone who understood the secrets of the tower. But who was the keeper of the clock? And what did the moon aligning with the spire mean? Ilara glanced out through the clock face, where the first stars of evening were beginning to appear. The village below was quiet, lanterns flickering in windows as families settled in for the night. She knew she should take the letter to the mayor or the town historian, but something held her back. This felt like a secret meant to be uncovered slowly, like the turning of the gears around her. Carefully, she tucked the letter into her pocket and made her way back down the stairs, the ClockTower's whispers following her into the night. The Eldermere Library smelled of beeswax and wisdom, its towering oak shelves bowing slightly under the weight of centuries-old knowledge. Morning light streamed through leaded glass windows, painting golden rectangles across the worn Persian carpets where generations of villagers had trod in search of answers. Ilara ran her fingers along the embossed spines in the local history section, the leather bindings warm from the sun, until she found what she sought. Eldermere, Chronicles of the Founding Families, its cover tooled with an intricate design of interlocking gears and vines. As she carried it to one of the high-backed reading chairs, the book seemed to sigh in her hands, its pages releasing a scent of vanilla and dried rose petals that had been trapped between them for decades. The librarian, Mr. Threadgood, adjusted his round spectacles and brought her a cup of chamomile tea in a delicate porcelain cup that had belonged to his grandmother. Alistair Wren, you say? He mused, his voice as crackling as the vellum pages before them. Ah, yes, our clockmaker, poet. He designed not just the tower's mechanism, but also the sundial in the herb garden and the musical carillon in the chapel. He turned the pages with practiced care, revealing an ink sketch of a man with kind eyes and ink-stained fingers, not unlike Ilara's own. The Wrens served as keepers for 5 generations before the role faded into memory. They believed time wasn't just something to measure, but something to converse with. As Ilara read, the library around her seemed to fade. Alistair's journals spoke of leaving time letters throughout the tower, notes tucked behind loose stones, slipped between gear teeth, or hidden in the hollows of wooden beams. The right words find the right eyes when the time is ripe, he had written in looping script. Her pulse quickened when she discovered a pressed forget-me-not between 2 pages, its petals still faintly blue after all these years. Beneath it, someone had written, "For when you need reminding." The wax seal on her mysterious letter matched the Wren family crest, a wren in flight carrying a sprig of thyme in its beak. For courage, the footnote explained. That evening, as fireflies began their luminous dance outside the library windows, Alara carefully copied the moon phases from the village almanac. Tomorrow night, the full moon would rise directly behind street, Hilarion's spire, just visible from the clock tower's western window. The pieces were aligning like the gears in one of Alistair's clocks. The following afternoon found Alara in the churchyard, sitting on a sun-warmed bench beneath a canopy of whispering elms as she studied the clock tower from this new angle. The raven carving was nearly invisible from ground level, hidden in the shadow of the clock face's ornate molding. Only when the sun reached its zenith did a glint of light betray the gemstone eye, a smooth onyx bead that seemed to wink knowingly at her. The village blacksmith, passing by with a basket of his mother's famous blackberry tarts, noticed her fixation. "That old bird?" he chuckled. "Legend says it was carved from a single block of midnight granite, but Master Wren insisted on giving it a seeing stone. Claimed ravens make the best timekeepers. Never early, never late, just observant." As twilight painted the sky in watercolor hues of lavender and peach, Alara returned to the tower with a basket of her own, a lantern, a woolen shawl, and a flask of spiced cider that filled the stairwell with comforting aromas of cinnamon and orange peel. This time, she noticed how the moonlight entered through the western window in a slow, deliberate arc, like the hand of a celestial clock. The 12th gear, larger than a wagon wheel and etched with an intricate pattern of oak leaves and acorns, began to glow as the moon's silver light touched its brass surface. Simultaneously, a beam reflected off the raven's eye, creating a tiny, brilliant dot on the opposite wall. Alara reached up, her fingers finding the cool stone, and pressed the gem. The hidden compartment opened with a sound like a contented sigh, revealing the tarnished brass key resting on a bed of dried lavender. The key felt alive in her palm, as if humming with untold stories. Its bow was shaped like a crescent moon embracing a star, while its teeth formed an intricate pattern that reminded her of musical notation. As she turned it over, moonlight glinting off its surface, she noticed tiny letters engraved along the shaft. Tempus Amoris, time for love. The stones near the alcove where she found the box were cooler than the others, their surfaces worn smooth by something other than weather. When she pressed the slightly protruding one, it yielded with surprising ease, revealing the hidden compartment and its precious cargo, a cedarwood box no larger than a loaf of bread, its surface carved with vines that formed the letters A and E intertwined. The key slid into the lock as if coming home after a long journey, and the lid opened with a whisper of fragrant cedar that carried the faintest memory of rosewater. The letter inside smelled faintly of sandalwood and iron gall ink, its once black handwriting now softened to the color of tea stains. "To whoever finds this," it began, "know that some truths are meant to be uncovered slowly, like the turning of the stars." Alistair's words unfolded like petals opening to the sun, revealing a love story written in the spaces between his official duties. Eleanor of Westhaven, daughter of the rival clockmaking family, had been his student, then his collaborator, then his secret heart. They'd met in this very tower, their whispered conversations masked by the rhythmic ticking, their letters hidden where only loving hands would think to look. "We marked our meetings by the moon," he wrote, "for her father watched the sun, but never thought to track the Silver Sisters' path. Alara read by lantern light, the flame-casting dancing shadows that made the gears seem to breathe around her. The more she read, the more the tower revealed its secrets. The slight indentation on the southeast windowsill where Eleanor had rested her sketchbook, the nearly invisible heart carved into the base of the pendulum, the way the 13th chime, only audible on the quietest nights, played the first notes of Eleanor's favorite lullaby. Their love had endured years of separation, until the day the rival families reconciled over a shared project, repairing the very clock whose heartbeat now surrounded Ilara. We built our life together, one careful piece at a time, Alistair wrote, like assembling a new movement where every gear finds its perfect mate. But the final paragraph made her breath catch. If you are reading this, then our time has run out, and the last of our letters remains undiscovered. Look to the heart of the clock when the harvest moon is highest. There you will find the final piece of our story. As Alara carefully returned the letter to its scented resting place, the tower seemed to exhale around her, its ancient timbers creaking like old bones, settling into a comfortable chair. Outside, an owl called to its mate, the sound echoing through the moonlit village. The harvest moon was just a week away, and somehow Ilara knew this wasn't just history she'd uncovered, but an invitation to become part of the tower's ongoing story. The night of the harvest moon draped Eldermere in a buttery golden light, so thick it seemed one might scoop it up with a spoon. Ilara climbed the tower steps slowly, each one creaking a familiar greeting beneath her feet. She carried a basket with fresh lavender sprigs, a beeswax candle, and a small leather-bound journal of her own, because some stories deserve to be continued. The clockroom welcomed her with the familiar symphony of ticking and whirring, the great gears turning as they had for centuries, indifferent to the human dramas unfolding around them. The central spindle, the true heart of the mechanism, pulsed with reflected moonlight, its polished surface gleaming like liquid silver. Behind the spindle's protective plate, which bore the faintest etching of two birds sharing a single piece of time, Alara found the final compartment, a slender space containing one last letter wrapped in a faded blue ribbon. This one began differently. Dearest time, traveler, as if Alistair had known his words would cross centuries, the letter contained their whole story, the secret meetings, the coded messages hidden in clock repairs, even the recipe for Eleanor's honey cakes that they'd shared on this very spot. We leave these words not as an ending, but as a beginning, it concluded. Add your own story to the tower's keeping. The heart of the clock has room for every tale. As the harvest moon reached its zenith, bathing the entire chamber in golden light, Alara took out her journal and began to write. She wrote of finding the first letter, of tracing the wren's history, of how the tower had become her confidant. Outside, the village slept peacefully below, its thatched roofs silvered by moonlight. Somewhere in the distance, the West Haven church bells chimed midnight, their melody intertwining with Eldermere's clock in perfect harmony. Alara smiled as she tucked her own letter beside Alistair's, sealing it with a sprig of thyme from the herb garden. The tower's whispers surrounded her like a lullaby as she descended each step, a note in the endless song of time, each creak a reminder that some stories never truly end. They simply wait for the next chapter to be written. And so the letter is no longer hidden, and the clock tower falls quiet again, holding its secret a little lighter than before. If you're still awake, let this quiet linger. Let the rain, the gentle hum of the night, and the soft rhythm of your own breath remind you that this moment is yours. Here in the Violet Hour Library, there will always be another story waiting, another night of quiet company whenever you need it. Wherever you are listening from tonight, I hope peace finds you. May your dreams be soft and your sleep deep. Good night.